All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Uplink. I'm Jacob Swin, marketing manager with Nova Labs, the founding team behind the Helium Network. And I'm really excited to be here today with the team from Dronedek talking about, the mailbox of the future. I don't know if that's actually your tagline. I think it's our tagline for you. So you guys can, correct that when you're up here. But I've been here for about a year and a half, and I know you guys have been like one of our ecosystem partners for a while. And so this has been like a really exciting thing to see grow and to see, come to fruition here on the network. So really excited to hear what you guys are up to. But first, I'm going to do a quick little spiel about Helium, just if anyone's not, familiar with the network. So the network has been around, honestly, since 2013. Helium, the company has started. The Helium, the current iteration, has been around since 2019. And in that time, we have hit almost 1 million hotspots across the world, 182 countries, over 74,000 cities. So really global coverage, continuing to grow. This is the IoT network. We also have our 5G network growing really rapidly in the United States as well. And just a couple of the selling points, some of the kind of things that drive people to the network, why people choose the network. There's things like low data transfer costs, are kind of standard example for a device that sends data every 5 minutes over the network, costs around $1 per year. So, we've got a lot of testimonials from, our ecosystem partners who have compare things like Wi-Fi, cellular, Bluetooth, all that kind of stuff. And Helium just ends up being much cheaper, especially when they're scaling out their businesses. It's really easy to use and to get started with Helium. I mean, you can pretty much go with any off-the-shelf LoRaWAN device and just hook it up to the network and go and start sending data right away. There's not, a lot of barrier to entry there. Because of this global network you see, across the world, almost everyone can now leverage existing infrastructure rather than paying to deploy more. So a lot of places, especially those high density areas, there's Helium coverage there already. So, you don't have to buy a hotspot. You don't have to deploy coverage yourself. It's there already. You can just get started with it. And then, one of the best things is just you pay based on usage. You're not getting locked into any sort of contract. You're not getting charged for any overages or, things that you may not be using or anything like that. You just, when you send data over the network, you're paying that way, and that's it. So pretty simple to use the network. And, Dronedek, you guys, like I said, have been part of our ecosystem for probably around a year now, maybe over that. But our ecosystem is growing really rapidly. And it's really cool to see just all the different use cases that the network enables, everything from all types of asset tracking to, customer feedback to smart mailboxes, all that type of stuff. That's a big part of my job, is working with our ecosystem partners. And it's really cool. And it's inspiring to see all the different things that people are coming up with that's enabled, that the network has enabled. So you can check that out on our ecosystem page. Just go to helium.com/ecosystem. And, we're adding partners on there all the time. We've had, oh man, a lot of exciting updates lately. It's been quite a summer, and now into the fall too. Just a few things. We just had Helium House, New York City, I guess 2 weeks ago. Feels like a year ago now, but we had a lot of really cool announcements. A lot of, our IoT use cases. Some of our hardware makers were showcasing. We had announcements for, and I'm going to talk about a few of them in just a second, but you can check all of that out. It's all up on our YouTube channel if you want to rewatch, if you weren't able to be there, if you weren't able to watch the live stream. It's all up there, all the different panels and things like that. But very cool to see. We also partnered with, we acquired, Nova Labs acquired FreedomFi to kind of extend our 5G, our work in the 5G space. So you can read about that and just kind of follow along with the progress that we've been going along with in 5G. The mobile token launched, I think, at the beginning of August. So, being rewarded for creating 5G coverage. It's happening now. If you're not part of it, make sure you go and check it out, like on the Helium blog, follow us on socials, and you can, read up about what's going on with our 5G. And then HIP 70, if you're not familiar with HIP 70, basically it's a proposal, amongst other things, for Helium to move to the Solana blockchain, L1 blockchain. And so, again, all the information's up on the Helium blog if you want to check that out and learn more about those types of things. But really exciting updates and really cool stuff moving forward. like I said, and I won't, go into this too deep, but the Helium 5G network is also just growing really rapidly. You saw the IoT networks at almost 1 million hotspots. Helium 5G across the US, we're already since August, already over 5,600 radios in 1,200 cities in almost all 50 states already. So really cool to see that growing. Always exciting to be here at kind of the foundation of network growth. And one of the most exciting announcements from Helium House, New York City, was announcing the launch of Helium Mobile, the upcoming launch of Helium Mobile in early 2023. But it's the world's first crypto carrier. So basically you can, earn mobile tokens when you're using the Helium 5G network. We also partnered with T-Mobile to do this. So like if there's not Helium 5G coverage around, you'll roll on the T-Mobile 5G network as well. And again, all of this up on our socials, up on the Helium Mobile Twitter page, also on the Helium blog. But yeah, very cool stuff. Definitely check it out. If you have any questions, you can just email me, jacob@novalabs.com. But for now, I'm going to stop sharing and hand it over to Laura and Sean at Dronedek to talk more about what you guys are doing on the network. Excited to hear this.
Thanks, Jacob. Let me go ahead and share this little PowerPoint that we have. And there we go. So we are Dronedek. We're the smart and secure mailbox that's consolidating all traditional and autonomous delivery. And we're really excited to be here today to talk a little bit about our product, our company, and what we're doing with the Helium network. So we're providing data, functionality, and more through LoRaWAN, and then also through cellular connectivity. So currently, right now, we just launched, we launched our first pilot program in August. During that pilot program, we used the Helium network to monitor our battery voltage, because most of those units were running on battery. We also can check our battery life. We can check the temperature inside the decks and the surrounding temperature, external temperature, humidity. We can do air quality sensors. And then we can also check voltage through if the deck's plugged in or ground, or run through a ground line. This is actually, sorry, go ahead.
Laura, can I jump in real fast? I have one question. You've mentioned decks a few times. So can you explain what decks are?
Yes, yes, thank you for bringing that up. We refer to it as deck so much, I don't even think about it. So yeah. Deck is kind of the shorthand for Dronedek, which is our mailbox. So these are some photos from our pilot program. This actually shows our commercial decks here, both through UPS ground delivery and then also testing drone delivery here. So these are our decks. When I say deck, this is what I mean.
Perfect.
And as Laura mentioned, Jacob, what you're seeing here is a commercial unit of ours. So we have different sized units based on the use case. And so we have a residential unit, we have a commercial unit. The commercial unit's a better fit for businesses, business parks, campuses, those sorts of settings. And this first phase of the first pilot that ran for 10 days featured 4 of our commercial smart mailboxes and businesses in the Lawrence, Indiana area.
Okay, cool.
That was very exciting for us. We got to test, that was USPS's first time delivering first class ground mail to a smart mailbox. So that was very exciting for us. And we also got deliveries from Uber Eats and DoorDash during that. So very exciting for us. This right here with DataCake, we actually use DataCake for our some of our management. And as you can see, this is our dashboard that we actually are viewing. This isn't the current, but this is a snapshot from our pilot program where we're monitoring the volts in the battery.
Can you explain maybe just, you say smart mailbox, like what makes it a smart mailbox, I guess? Like what differentiates it from just like the big blue mailbox I see out on the sidewalk sometimes?
So one of our biggest separators is that we interface with different kinds of autonomous systems. So drones, as you can see here, ground robotics, self-driving vehicles, as well as traditional delivery. So we're really consolidating all types of delivery to one point and building out the infrastructure for like charging stations. We're doing signal boosters. So we're including Helium hotspots and gateways so we can expand the network for not only our own usage, but also for the community's usage. So those are just a couple of the things that set us apart. We also have a lot of features, several of which we'll probably be using the Helium network for, like, heated and cooled cargo area. You can monitor the temperature and all of that through the Helium network and LoRaWAN. We also offer real-time app notifications and things like that.
Very cool.
Imagine your Ring doorbell being moved to the curb and combined with your mailbox, right? You've got a secure place to have some connection, and then also it's just the next upgrade in the house, and that's what we were really excited about. That aha moment was, okay, smartphone, smart car, smart thermostat, smart home. Okay, well, what's the next evolution? Geez, the mailbox hasn't been touched, and there's so much that we can do, especially bringing it into this day and age. So,
Very cool.
Laura, take it from there.
Exactly, yeah. And so the Helium network has actually been a really great thing for us. It allows us to onboard more sensors and get more data and save a lot of money because it's a lot cheaper through than cellular network. So we're really excited about getting to be one of your guys' first ecosystem partners. Again, you've said we've been with you guys for quite some time. It's been a really exciting journey as we've been onboarding our own devices, and all of our sensors that are using Helium network or most of them, are created internally. So we really love innovating on the Helium network. It's just
we love the permissionless aspect of it, Jacob, because a lot of other LoRaWAN providers, they're much more closed off. It's more difficult to have flexibility and the ability to say, here's a network, here's a platform, here's a tool. What can I do with it, instead of being told, here's what you do with it? And we have loved that for Helium and the LoRaWAN networks, because it's allowed us to say, here is the marriage between our use case and what this platform provides. And so we've loved the data analytics that we've been able to get. We've have been crucial for us having transparency during the pilot. And so we've been very grateful.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear. Well, I know Laura mentioned like cell and stuff like that. Did you test out or try other technologies before you kind of landed on Helium? And what made you kind of go towards Helium? I mean, you've mentioned a lot of the benefits like you just talked about, Sean, but did you test some other things out ahead of time?
We were originally all on cellular network, 4G, not 5G, just because of some of the regulations around drones. And we still use cellular for a couple of things, for video and such. And currently drone communications are still done on that. But for most of our other sensors and data, it just made so much more sense for the Helium network, because they're not sending major packets of data. And so we were seeing really high costs just to send some, pretty simple information over cellular. And so when we discovered the Helium network, and it worked really great for our use cases, for a lot of our sensors. And again, it brings down cost, and it allows us to really get a good view on what's going on inside of our decks.
Yeah, cheap, fast, scalable, and flexible. So it's been extremely helpful in those regards.
And on that same note of the flexibility, the community has been really great. Anytime we have any questions, or we have an issue where we're looking for someone that's doing something to partner with, like Data Cake, for example, we've been able to find someone that can help us with that within your partners and the greater community. So that's been really, really useful for us too.
Yeah, no, that's a great shout out. I mean, we have, I don't even know the Discord numbers anymore. I mean, it was like 200,000 last time I checked. It's probably 800,000 by now, because that was a while ago, but community's growing really quickly. A lot of good resources in there. So yeah, that's great to hear. Do you guys have more slides to show, some more things to go through?
The rest is just really pictures. We really wanted to illustrate, and we could talk a little bit about some of our actual use cases where we're going to be using Helium network. So we showed.
Yeah, I think that was my next question. Like, you've done the pilot program in Indiana, right? I said that
Yes,
once.
yes.
Yeah. So I just kind of, moving forward, what does it look like a little bit? Or like you said, maybe some of your use cases that, are already out there.
So right now we actually have a couple of medical pilots that we're working on in the background, and we can't say too much about them right now, give too many details, but
You can
it
tease.
is exactly, and it's a really good little example of how we can use the Helium network. So we mentioned heated and cooling is through the LoRaWAN. So that all that data, the deck temperature, internal temperature, excuse me, is all available through that. So for these medical pilots, we are delivering blood samples, tissue samples, different things like that between the hospitals and their labs. So as you can imagine, temperature is extremely important when you're talking about them. These kinds of samples, they have to stay cool within a certain range. And so being able to see that temperature is critical. It's something that not only does our customer expect, but we definitely want to make sure that the temperature is always correct and available, especially in these use cases. So through their device, they can pull up their app and the temperature there. All of those sensors, again, are on LoRaWAN. And so that's one of the big use cases is temperature that we're using. I think that one is very tangible for a lot of people. So we like to give that example when we're talking about it.
For sure. Can you, do you have like other pilots, or, I mean, you mentioned some of these things. Are there specific cities that you're kind of targeting that you're going to work with, that you're, expanding to, or is it kind of just like a broad, let's go anywhere we can with this stuff?
A little bit of both. We are trying to roll out in strategic zip codes. So we're trying to blanket whole zip codes because we're building out this infrastructure. So it's really important for one deck not to be too far from another, so a drone can fly between them and charge if need be, things like that. So because of that, we are partnering with cities and municipalities and on the governmental level. We have several relationships with different cities in Indiana, like Fishers and Lawrence. And then we're always looking for other smart cities that are innovating and looking for other ways that can set their city apart. So there's a lot of really exciting things with robotics and drone delivery happening in Texas. So, we're always looking for opportunities there. And so those are kind of some of the cities and areas that we're working in or looking to work in.
Yeah. So right now, is this all, I mean, I know this stuff is pretty new and you're doing pilots and things. Is it all US based, or, are you looking outside of the US? Have you had conversations globally a little bit with anybody?
We do have some international partners, and we have looked at some international opportunities. We actually just designated, I believe, 5 countries for international patent protection of our patents. So we are getting ready kind of to start looking internationally and start moving that way more. But currently, I'd say a lot of our focus is still here in the States. We really want to get
dig our roots deep.
Yep, exactly.
For sure. Yeah. Can you guys explain a little bit? And again, it's for, even me too, but, people who aren't totally familiar with this, like, how do the drones themselves fit in? Like, are they part of Dronedek as the company, or are you guys making the mailboxes and the drones are separate? Like, how does that all work together?
Thank you so much for that question. We love that because, we are not the drone. We are the receptacle. That was a choice that we made because many of these large shippers are looking into their own fleets of drones right now. And so we didn't want to compete with them on that level. We want to be platform agnostic. No one's going to have multiple drone decks in their yard. So one where, someone's delivering to one, another company's delivering to another. We really want to consolidate everything to one point. And a lot of companies don't want to be told that they have to use our fleet of drones. So we can interface with any drone, any robotics, but we are the receptacle.
Okay. Yeah. I think I was confused by that like a year ago when I first heard about you guys. I'm like, oh yeah, they're doing stuff with drones, and you are, but you don't have the drones themselves. Yeah.
And on that note, Jacob, so two good points. Thank you for bringing that up. One, it's important also for the audience to understand, while the name of our company is Dronedek, we are working towards a trimodal compatibility. So it won't be limited to drones. You'll also be compatible with ground robotics and traditional carriers, right? Your DoorDash driver, your Uber Eats driver, the mail carrier. all of that, it just gets consolidated into one point. No different than our smartphone is our MP3 player, is our fax machine, is our computer. It just gets consolidated into one device. And so that's very much, so we love the drones. Those are exciting, but there's so much more that Dronedek has to offer that is also, I mean, I would venture to say equally exciting, just maybe not quite as flashy.
I was going to say, you got to change your name every time you add something in there. Paragraphs. And,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Very cool. I had a couple questions here. So there's residential and there's commercial, right?
Yes.
That's what you said. How, like, so say I own a home, like someone here, like, how do I go about kind of getting in contact with you guys and getting, like, do people themselves, I guess, can they get one of these decks, or is it, when you say residential, is it like for a neighborhood, for a street? How does the residential part work? And then I have a commercial question after this too.
Yeah, of course. So we are still pre-market right now. You can reach out to us at info@dronedek.com for more information if they are curious. Currently, we're not selling to individuals. We are looking at pilot programs with developers and in smart cities that would bring these in front of homes and businesses in those areas. I mean, commercial partners, we are doing some more one-off pilot programs there, but we do plan on eventually being available for individuals. So keep an eye out. In the future, you will be able to get a Dronedek in front of your house.
Yeah. So the goal is everyone in the country to have a deck in front of their house, right? Every house has a Dronedek.
Instead of a mailbox, just a dummy mailbox or an analog mailbox. Right now, it's a smart mailbox.
Yeah. Very cool. So what about, and I think this falls under the commercial part a little bit, but like, say I live in an apartment complex or something, like, for those, would it be, if there's 100 units in an apartment complex, are you looking at putting like one deck? Do you have things with those where it's like multiple decks? How does that stuff work where there's a lot of different tenants?
So currently we only have our standalone units, but there is a cluster box configuration, as we call it, in our product roadmap that is better suited for apartment buildings and office buildings with several companies in it, things like that.
Gotcha.
It's more multi-tenant focused.
Yeah. No, I think, looking at like my apartment complex, it would be really cool to have that, because especially, so many people are ordering, like, I mean, there's packages coming constantly, there's Uber Eats drivers coming in and out all the time and stuff. It seems like this would be a great fit for one of these types of things.
And we're hearing that, especially as places are trying to minimize foot traffic or delivery traffic, right? This is a common place that they can have everything sent to. It becomes more efficient for the carriers. It becomes easier and less frictional for the consumers. And that's really the goal. At the end of the day, you don't know who did what with what you ordered unless you have eyes on it. And this gives us the eyes on it.
And
more
not to mention
transparency.
that we're taking cars off the road. Anytime a delivery is made by a drone or a ground robotic, that's one less car. And they're all electric. It's better for the environment as well.
Yeah. No, and that's a great point. Do you guys, I haven't looked at your website a ton to know this, but like, do you guys have that as part of your marketing, as like, better for the planet, greener, that type of thing in your kind of selling point for this?
Yes, definitely. We're always looking to be more green. It's why we're looking at including air quality sensors as well and things like that. It's very important to us. It's a very core principle of what we're doing.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. More things like that. And on the network as well as part of, Helium, I love to see more, green solutions on the network for sure. So kudos to you guys for doing that. Let me think. And you kind of mentioned how people can get in touch with you. You said you're still pre-market for a lot of these things. So if people do reach out, like, what can they expect, I guess, in terms of a conversation? If it's like a homeowner or something, is there kind of a timeline you guys have? Is there something they can like test out? How does it work if someone reaches out to you right now?
So we do have a timeline for when we're expecting to be hitting market. We're going to be rolling out in certain areas and in certain markets next year a little bit, and then gearing up towards a full rollout in 2025. So that's when we're expected to be completely out. Everybody can have a Dronedek, no matter what market, or if you're a resident, doesn't matter, individual, it should be available then. And as for getting in contact, we're always happy to answer questions. If you want to be included in mailing lists, if you want to follow us on socials, that's a great way to get connected too.
Yeah.
We are actually raising money right now on a crowdfunding campaign. So even non-accredited investors can get involved. So if any questions about any of that, we're always happy to answer as well.
Yeah, and Laura brings up a good point there. Highly recommend follow us across social media, at Dronedek on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. On Twitter, it's at Dronedek_corp. And I'm sure Jacob's going to share these. But that's the best way to stay up to date with news, alerts, announcements, product developments, partnership announcements, such as ones with Helium and Nova Labs. And then, as Laura mentioned, we just kicked off our crowdfunding campaign on Start Engine, and that's a really easy startengine.com/Dronedek. So great way to just find more resources on us. And if you have any other questions, you're always welcome to send us a message through any of those social media channels as well.
Perfect. Yeah. And I will drop social handles in the video description once this, when this is up on YouTube, like when people are watching it, actually, it'll have that stuff in there. And, you can follow any of the Helium accounts as well. And, we are definitely resharing Dronedek stuff too. So you can see some of the stories. Do you Helium itself, like the network is expanding. I went over some of the 5G stuff and things like that. I know you guys are doing, LoRaWAN IoT stuff, but are there specific things you're excited about with Helium that you see kind of benefiting what you're trying to do down the road?
As the Helium networks grow, into the 5G and all these other areas, I think we can just onboard even more onto your guys' platform and your guys' network. Just we can start doing videos over 5G and things like that. So I think it's great for us that you guys are expanding, and we're very excited to get to explore some other opportunities with you guys.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. As the 5G network grows, I mean, it's really cool to see those use cases kind of, can translate over or get put on 5G and stuff. So awesome. Sean, I think I might've interrupted you there.
No, I was just gonna piggyback off of that and say that I'd say personally, the 5G element is and growing that network is really exciting to me, because a lot of drone providers look at mobile edge computing and smart cities look at mobile edge. And so, 5G helps build the infrastructure that allows some of these other efforts to be unlocked. And so if we can play a small, or of course, a large part in amplifying that network and using our footprint to create this decentralized extension of the Helium network and the People's Network, then that's what we want to do. We want to be the wind in your sails, because your successes are going to be ours. And ultimately, the end result is a better network that's more stable and secure for all users. And that's what we're all after. So we feel very strongly we can do that together.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. We have been, now that, I'm not saying COVID is not gone, but like we've been able to go to more in-person events and kind of get out and see people in the community more. And I think, Laura, you presented at Helium House Austin, right? Back in June.
Yes.
Yes. So thank you for that, by the way. But are you guys planning on being at any, conferences, anything where people can maybe come check out and talk to you guys in person, maybe see demos or anything like that? Is there anything you want to kind of, talk about a little bit?
Yeah, we go to a lot of conferences and trade shows. I think the next one that we are slotted to exhibit at is CES in Vegas, the Consumer Electronics Show. I know that I'm sure a lot of our community and your community will be there. We definitely encourage you to seek us out. We're always happy to engage and answer any questions. We will have some units there. As for demos, we're still trying to figure out if we're going to be doing any demo there or not yet, but we'll definitely have units that will be powered up, so you'll be able to see the base functionality and everything, no matter what.
And if you're following us, you'll be able to stay up to date on the when and where we'll be. But it's really exciting as we look ahead. The events, I think you'll see, Jacob, that not only will you see us at more, but you'll see us having a bigger splash at them. And that's just because we're hitting that point in our product roadmap, where we have bigger benchmarks that we're hitting and that we can show off.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know we were really excited on our team just when you had the pilot program out and there were actual, products out there that we could see, because it's been something everyone's been talking about for, since last summer, I guess. It's like, wow, this is really cool, and so to be able to see that stuff and, in person at one of these shows, I think is really cool. And, it's great for potential customers or something to kind of see it a little bit. So, I think that is honestly most of the questions I had for you guys. Do you have any last things you want to share? Any, upcoming things, anything at all? Any Dronedek info you want to share before we kind of sign off here?
I think the big thing, and we said it already, is our crowdfunding campaign. We are raising capital. We would love if anyone watching would come and get involved and join our community if you're interested. This is, again, a great time if you're a non-accredited investor. We don't get to raise capital like this very often. So usually, it has to be big investors accredited. So this is just the time to get involved, no matter who you are. So yeah, we would love if you come and check us out on Start Engine.
Okay. Do you have, is there like a link or something? Maybe you can send me that I can put in the video description where people can go and do that, or is it easier for them to just go to your website? What's the best way for them to kind of get involved that way?
Both. So our website, there's a banner on the top that will take you straight to Start Engine, and we will definitely send you a link as well to include in the descriptions.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. And when you talk about your community, getting involved in the community, I know we have a huge community on Discord. Do you guys have anything like do you have a Discord? Is there a Dronedek Discord or some kind of like online community where people can go and, chat about these types of things?
So we don't have a Discord yet. It might be we might need one now.
Yeah.
Sean, you might actually be able, all our socials are a great way to engage in the community. We have a lot of people that comment and are really active, but Sean, our brand manager, also handles our social media, would probably be a little bit better answering this. I'm going to hand it over to him.
Yeah, thanks, Laura. The best way right now, and just to paint a picture, so our investor community right now, as in people who have invested, not just people who are fans of Dronedek, are right around 5,000. So from a market validation standpoint, we have about 5,000 investors in our community. So when we say to come and join us, we're not saying there's just a few of us who sit in a dark room. We have there is an inflection point coming from people who realize that this sort of technology will be a commonplace, much like the people who see or saw the iPhone and said this is going to be everywhere. So right now, those communities are popping up unofficially. For example, a Dronedek investor page on Facebook that was started by Dronedek investors who just love the company, and now it's grown to hundreds of people within there. Yeah. So there are options where you can find an unofficial community page like that, or what we encourage is participate on our official page, follow us, comment, be engaged, ask questions, start the conversation. And we really love that organic conversational approach. So at the end of the day, we're approachable, we're people, we just want a little bit better way to have our goods secured and received.
For sure. Yeah. No, hey guys, this has been great. I really appreciate you coming on and talking about this. And like I said, I've been excited about seeing this stuff, come to life for a year almost now. So it's really cool to see, the decks out in the wild. And, I'm really excited to see, as these things roll out more and more in the future. So very cool that you guys are working with us with Helium. So thank you for that. And thank you for being on. Yeah, that's it for me. If you guys have any last minute things, otherwise I will put some of those links in the video description, and this will be up on socials, YouTube, everywhere for people to check out.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's it from us. Thank you so much for having us on.
All right.
Thank you for the opportunity, Jacob.
Absolutely. Great to talk to you guys, and I'll see everyone next time on the Uplink.
We'll see you on Twitter,
All
social
right.
media.
Bye.